folks, I'm Billy Pennell. Thanks for joining me for another of my favourite musical moments. I want to share with you today the voice of an extraordinary singer. He was born in 1925 in Cleveland, Ohio, and he suffered from a very rare hormonal illness and a condition that left him with a very high natural contralto voice. So he starts off singing in local church choirs near home, and the word gets out that there's this extraordinary young man with this magnificent, beautiful, ethereal voice. So Lionel Hampton, one of the most popular band leaders of that era, just post World War II, he hires Jimmy Scott, called Little Jimmy Scott then, as his singer, and they record a whole bunch of tracks and release them. But Hampton doesn't acknowledge his vocalist, so the songs just get released as a Lionel Hampton orchestra, and Jimmy Scott remained pretty much anonymous. Then a similar thing happened with Charlie Parker. Charlie Parker's people heard about this amazing singer also, and they got Jimmy Scott to come in and do some sessions with Parker, and the same thing happened. The singer's name just wasn't mentioned on the sleeve notes or whatever they had back in those days to acknowledge who was actually doing what. So as a result he becomes pretty much disillusioned, and in the 60s he is in some sort of semi-retirement, I guess. He works as a hospital orderly, as a lift driver, until 1991 when some extraordinary events happened, this time for the better. He's asked to sing at the funeral of a very famous songwriter called Doc Pomus, and Pomus's family were aware of Jimmy Scott's friendship with their friend who just died, their relative that just died, and they asked him if he would sing at the funeral. And so Jimmy Scott sang at the funeral. Amongst the mourners were Lou Reed, astounded by Scott's vocal performance. He'd never heard of him. He approached him after the funeral and said, "Look, would you be available to come and sing some backing vocals on my new album called Magic and Loss?" And of course Scott was very pleased to do that. Also at about the same time, Johnny Ray, one of the great singers of that era, who had also not heard much about Scott, but when he did, heard what he liked, he asked him to come on and open a show for him at a very popular night spot in New York. And also amongst the mourners at Doc Pomus's funeral was a man called Seymour Stein, very influential music entrepreneur, had his own label, Sire Records, signed a lot of great acts, and he also approached Jimmy Scott with the possibility of them working together, and Scott recorded I think about a dozen albums for Sire Records. He died in 2014 at the age of 88 and left an extraordinary body of music. Some I would wish now to share with you. So have a listen to one of the great voices of all time in any sort of music, Jimmy Scott.
Time after time, I tell myself that I'm lucky to be loving you. So lucky to be the one you run to see. In the evening when the day is through. I only know what I know. The passing years will show. You took my love so young, so new. And time the time I'll tell myself that I'm lucky to be loving you.
I try to deal with songs that bring forth thoughts about life. Thoughts that we live with every day. Oh, there's love stories, there's hate stories, and all that. But to me, the lyric must mean something. See, just singing lyrics to have words go along with the melody. No. The lyric has to be telling a story.